The Chamber of Southern Saratoga County welcomes you to maximizing your membership. In today's session, the objectives include helping new members learn about Chamber membership benefits early on so they can better utilize their memberships for maximum effectiveness. So let's take a look at what Chamber membership benefits exist. To do that, we'll go to the website, to the membership benefits page, and look at the four membership benefits areas that are relevant to all of us. Marketing your business is important. Enhanced services, we'll dive down in that in a minute. Professional development and advocacy. So we've organized the membership benefits into these four areas based on them being related, and hopefully this will make it a little easier for you to digest. So if we drill down into marketing your business, the big marketing benefit that many members enjoy is a microsite, which is a website within the Chamber website to promote their business. And a lot of what we're going to talk about in the latter part of this session will focus on how to do that, how to optimize that and get the most value out of your membership directory listing. Networking, what people classically think of as a primary benefit of joining the Chamber, is all the networking opportunities that it offers you, from participating in different committees as well as participating in special events, mixers. The opportunities are endless. And then sponsoring different events is a great way to get not only awareness but to drive relationships in business. So there's lots of membership opportunities for sponsorships. Ribbon cuttings are a key benefit. It's a great way to get the local government dignitaries and press to your business, and it provides a great awareness event. Free of charge, just needs to be coordinated with the Chamber. Social networking. Chamber is very active on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, and so it gives you another channel to promote your business to a wider audience. Advertising opportunities at the Southern Saratoga Information Center, located on the Northway Exit 9. It gets tens of thousands of visitors each year, and it's a great opportunity for you to increase your Chamber membership benefits by opting to put your information in the center. There is a charge for that, but it's a very reasonable charge and a ton of value if you're in the hospitality business. So feel free to contact the Chamber for more information on those advertising opportunities, as well as the ability to advertise on the Chamber website. Leads groups, these are fantastic opportunities to network with other businesses. Each leads group is constructed so that there's no contention in terms of overlap, so only one member in the leads group can be representing a particular industry, and it's a great way to generate referral business. Now, going back to the other areas, let's now drill down into professional development. So, the Chamber membership allows you to participate in different committees. The committees include the ambassadors, Chamber Angels, Small Business Resources, Economic and Government Affairs, and you can read the additional ones there on the web page. But each of these committees allows you to engage with other Chamber members in a more intimate and more positive context. And it's a great way to demonstrate leadership capabilities, or additionally to develop those leadership capabilities if that's something that you're interested in. SCORE and SBDC are both not-for-profit organizations. They partner with the Chamber. Chamber provides them space and meeting room resources and offers membership access to those counseling. I've used both. and they're fantastic resources. They can do everything from help you develop a marketing plan to developing a small business plan that can be used to obtain funding, for instance, through the Small Business Administration. So preparing businesses for all of the things that they need to be successful at no cost to their business. Educational seminars can include things like the Startup Smart, which is a series of classes designed to help new businesses learn what they need to know in each subject area. So, marketing, sales, operations, legal issues, HR issues, benefits issues, all the kinds of things that new businesses have to learn about quickly to become operational and successful. There's also Executive Access, which is a program where chamber members can participate in behind the scenes operation views of large businesses and get to meet with executives from those businesses as well as network with other members who are participating in executive access. Lots of alumni in executive access in the past have formed strong relationships, and it's a great opportunity to network with people at a higher level than you may otherwise have an opportunity to do. Now let's talk about the enhanced services benefits afforded through the chamber. One of the biggest reasons many people traditionally have joined chambers is to obtain health insurance through health insurance programs administered or offered through chamber. For the Southern Saratoga Chamber, we partner with Boucher and Clark Benefits to offer a wide range of health plan options. And Boucher and Clark is a presidential level member of the Southern Saratoga Chamber, which means they're the strongest supporter in terms of membership level. They offer the Bright Choices Insurance Program, which covers not only health but dental, long-term care insurance options, and disability, including many products and options available for sole proprietors. So if you're just starting out, these are a great set of resources for you to be able to get your benefits program in place. The Retail Council of New York State offers a group rate for purchasing merchant solutions, in other words, processing credit cards. They have an interesting offer that if you provide them with past merchant statements outlining the fees that you pay for your credit card processing, if they can't provide you a better deal, they will give you $100 bonus. So what do you got to lose? There's also the Veteran Training Program as an enhanced service. So any veteran who started a business within the last year is eligible for this program. It's sponsored by SEFQ, and it combines business education and networking opportunities for them to build new clients for their business. And the last enhanced service that I'll talk about is a certificate of origin. Certificates of origin are documentation that you need as an export or an importer to be able to move goods across borders. And typically those cost money. And so if you're an importer or an exporter, your chamber membership could be paid for entirely on the benefit of certificates of origins that you get through your chamber membership. So different benefits will be more or less important depending on your specific context, but there's hopefully you can see that there's benefits for any business of any type. The last area that I'll mention is advocacy, and this can be government advocacy. And one example that I love, which is from a not too distant episode, there was a pet store that wanted to offer, or that did offer, reptiles in their one store located in one part of southern Saratoga County. And in their Schuylerville store, they wanted to also offer reptiles because that was one of the more profitable lines of their pet line. And because of a law on the books, an old law, it prohibited the sale of reptiles within the town limits. So when the chamber heard about that and got involved, they were able to work with local government officials to be able to update and allow that law to be overturned so that the business could then benefit from the investment they made in Schuylerville and their pet store there. So a lot of times governments will have well-meaning agendas and policies, but oftentimes with the right kind of but oftentimes with the right kind of advocacy, in this case through the chamber, we're able to leverage that benefit to help really enhance our business opportunities. So if you're running into problems with signage or some permitting or maybe just getting to the right resource within the local government that you're dealing with, lean on the chamber to help point you in the right direction and maybe connect you even with the right resources within your township to be able to help you resolve whatever it is that the roadblock can be. To get started updating our business profile to enhance our microsite, the very first thing we need to do is click on the member login. Okay, now we're going to cover a situation that is common among many members, including myself. We know what our email address is that we signed up for at the chamber, which can be used as your username to log in. So it's going to be typically your business email, or it can be a personal email. And then I'm just going to type in something because I think it's my last password, but I have so many passwords I can't remember. And I hit submit. We get the dreaded username or password is incorrect. Well, the username's easy. If you know what email you signed up with at the chamber, then you use that email as your username and you're fine there. Your password, however, you're going to need help there. So what we want to do is click this link below here. It says forgot your password, username or password. Since I know my username, I just have to put in my email address and then I will click get password. And now what that's going to do is it's going to send me an email with a link that is a temporary link for security reasons. And it lasts 24 hours. I can click on that link in the next 24 hours and go ahead and reset my password to something that I can then remember and write down if need be. And so go ahead, click continue. After we have put in our email address of record, we'll go ahead and submit it, and this is the email that you should expect to receive. So we'll have a link in the email that when you click on it, it'll bring you to the chamber website and allow you to put in a new password, and then make sure to write down that password or to keep it in a safe place. But that password is the key that will allow you to update your chamber micro website and to be able to make any updates that you need to. Which when I click on it, it will bring me to the chamber website and it'll allow me to change my password. So I'm going to change my password to something secure and something I can remember. It's good to use a mix of upper and lowercase letters and numbers and special characters. And then it says your account has been updated, and I will go ahead and update in my password manager, and then log into what's called the Member Information Center. And we'll talk about the Member Information Center in some detail, but at this point I'll give everybody a minute or two to log into the Member Information Center. If you have a laptop, tablet, or even a phone, you can log into the Member Information Center, and the goal will be to show you what you can do within the Member Information Center and the access that you have to update your microsite and what are the most important things to prioritize in terms of the updates you want to make and the pitfalls that you want to avoid. So most of what you're going to update is company information. So if we look at the left-hand menu, we're on the home button on the top. This is sometimes called a ribbon. We're on the home ribbon or the home button, and we're going to select company information. And when we select company information, you can see that expands into another menu. And if I click it again, it goes and contracts. So I'm going to go ahead and expand that, and then I'm going to go to website information, because this is where in the Member Information Center we can update information on the website. And one of the first things that I'll mention is you have the ability to connect social network services, so your social profiles on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, with your microsite or your website within a website here on the Chamber. And so I have LinkedIn, and then I've got the actual link to that page. I have a Facebook page for my business, and then I have a Twitter profile for my business. So I leverage all three options. And if I go to the website, the external website, which is the public website, and I search for my profile, eBizROI Inc., what I'll see when I scroll down is that I have LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter icons there. So if I go back to the Member Information Center and go to Company Information, and then Website Information, it's under the web page content, social network services. Now, when you add these links, you'll want to make sure that you add the specific link to your page. So when you first check any of these checkboxes, like for Facebook, it'll come in as https://www.facebook.com. The part that's specific to your page name, that's after the .com, you want to make sure that's specific to yours. And then you can always click the verify URL link, and that will bring up whatever it is that you've just linked to. Hopefully it's your Facebook page, but it's a way to verify that in fact, yes, your link is correct. So that's how we get to social media and linking social media on our microsite. The next thing is to connect the website to my microsite listing on the Chamber website. And I can do that right here, where it's the website address https://www.ebizroi.com. And then I can also, if I want to have something in addition to just the button on my profile, I can also add descriptive anchor text, in this case internet advertising service, which will then show up on my profile. In addition to the visit website button, you'll see internet advertising service show up as a hyperlinked rich keyword rich anchor text. That I want to talk about is the web description and the text slash content. And basically I have a description here that tells what my agency does in detail, so that when somebody goes to my profile on the Chamber website, they can immediately see what I do. But I'm gonna take all of that out, and I'm gonna click Save Changes, and I'm gonna show you what happens to my profile. So right now I have, if you go to my profile, you see there's an About tab. Now if I click on the About tab, there's a lot of information here about what the company does. But since I've just taken all that information out, you'll see I don't even have an About tab anymore. So you can get a sense of how important it is to have a good web description. So I'm going to go back to the website information and close out and reinsert that information. And when I do that, I'll hit Save Changes. And when I go back and refresh, we'll see an About tab will reappear. And all the information about the business will show back up. So unless you have a business that everybody knows about, like for instance, if you're a McDonald's franchise, you probably don't need to have a very big About tab because people know exactly what McDonald's is and what they sell. But if you're a business that's not a national brand or a household brand, even in the local market, then having a descriptive About tab is very important because then people can determine very quickly whether or not it makes sense to do business or whether or not you offer the products and services that they're looking for. So that is the web description, and it as you type it tells you how many characters that you have. There's enough to fill an entire page, so you definitely probably don't need to use all the characters available. There's also this search results description right here. And where that search results description comes in is if I search for advertising and I'll go to, let's say, advertising and media, and here's the search results. And in the search results, we'll see that many of the listings have what's called a search result icon. But what I wanted to show you is this right here, this little short description. So that short description has a little bit of information about what we do in terms of digital advertising. It lets people know that we're fully insured, that we're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and if they're on a phone, they can just click the phone number and get in touch with us or click the phone number to the right. You'll also notice that there is a website button. And where that gets set right here is this search results description. So the idea being, if somebody is searching a category and they're looking at the search results, I'm not familiar with Silver Pen Productions and I'm not knocking them, but I will point out that for me to understand more about what they do, I could click their phone number over here, which some people will do, and then I could also click through and go to their profile and then see that, okay, they're in radio, television, media communication, web design, and development services. They have an About tab, they have a Facebook tab. So there is some information, but I have to click through from the search results where if you have a short description like M&M Digital Printing, they also have a short description. So I encourage people to put this short description in here as well. Hours of operation, you'll notice that hours of operation, if you go to a profile, the hours of operation are right here. I know that most phone calls to businesses, besides are you open, are what are your hours of operation? So that can be a handy thing to have right on the website, especially if you're in the hospitality industry. The next thing is driving directions. Now, even though your profile will have a map listing or a map tab on your listing, this is where the directions will show up. So people can always click on the map and then go to Google Maps and then get directions. But if you want to make it uh, a little easier for people, which is always the goal online, then you can put directions in there and that will show up on the About tab. And so really, if people are familiar with this area, especially from Clifton Park, it's, with a few sentences or a few short instructions, you can get people directly to your location. The next thing we'll cover are these highlights, and where these show up are on the highlights tab. And if you have highlights selected, this will be the default tab when people come to your profile. And for search advertising, display advertising, video advertising, mobile advertising, internet advertising glossary. These all link to individual pages on the eBiz ROI website, and that can be set right here. So the text that becomes clickable, which is the anchor text, and then the individual address of the web page that talks about our eBiz ROI search advertising services. So it's just a way to, again, make it easy so that if people click on that link, they can go right to the right place on your website and get the information they're after without having to go to your website and then search around. So that can also have very good advantages from a Google search engine optimization standpoint, because when you have clickable text that is descriptive of what's on the page you're linking to, Google likes that and will reward you for that. So that's always a good thing. If you wanted to, you can also have reps have their information exposed on the listing for your microsite. So for instance, if you have a multi-department organization, you may have sales, service, parts, for instance, in the automotive industry. You can imagine that you could have different phone numbers listed here for, or the same phone number with different extensions, different emails. Perhaps the most important thing for everybody to think about as they go through updating their profile, one of the things we mentioned for an objective is to increase your exposure. And the Chamber website gets several thousand visits every month by different people. And based on where those people end up on our website, it's clear that they're looking for products and services. So these are people that are local to the area. They're people that are thinking about moving into the area. They're people who are looking for products and services and want to go through the chamber as a trusted source of information on local businesses. So to that end, if you want to connect with those thousands of people, you want to make sure that when they land on the chamber website, probably one of the most popular functions is a search site. So for instance, if you happen to be in the, say you're in the financial services business and you want, when people type 401k, you want to show up in the list, then you want to have 401k listed in your keywords. In the case of the profile I'm most familiar with, my own, we specialize in what's called pay-per-click advertising, or PPC. So people might search PPC, and you'll see that in this case we show up alongside Mannix Marketing, which is a real privilege given their position in the market. So they're also listing that keyword in their keyword list. Or it could be something like display ads, or it could be something like eBiz, which happens to be in your name. So if something's in your name, the search function will automatically connect to your listing. But you have 20 keywords that you can plug into your listing. And any of these keywords, so for instance, YouTube is a keyword since we support YouTube advertising. So if I go to plug in YouTube and say somebody's interested in YouTube, we have two. We've limited it to the over 1,000 members to this, just these two. But if I didn't have YouTube in my keyword list, it would only be creator fundamentals. They get the phone call, and I might not even get a chance to hopefully compete for the business. So your most important homework assignment after taking this training is to go and to update your keyword list. Some common questions that I get is it, does it support phrases? The short answer is no, but if there's a common phrase that you want to bid for, so for instance, it might be digital media or digital advertising. Um, I'm just going to put in the keyword digital, because if I do digital media, if someone types digital advertising, digital ads, because the word digital is already there, I'll show up. So if you're worried about phrases, just think of the first word that's always connected in that phrase, and that's the only word you'll have to put in to capture traffic or searches related to that phrase. So 20 keywords seems like a lot. Depending on how diverse your business is, you may find that that's limiting. If it is limiting, my suggestion is to put all the keywords you can think of and then test them, rotate them. What the software does is it analyzes the first 20 keywords, and it doesn't it ignores quotes. So if you try to force a phrase by putting it in quotes, it'll ignore it. It's going to be tracking keywords that are divided by a space or spaces. So advertising space, Google space, ads space, YouTube. Each one of those is a keyword. So if I go back to the search function and I search for Google, I see that there are 3 companies that have Google somehow associated with their listing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove Google out of mine just to demonstrate the fact that this is real time. So it's not like keywords and the way keywords work with a regular search engine. The Chamber has a real time search engine. So if I reload the page and then I search for Google, you'll see that eBiz ROI is no longer listed there. However, if I go back into the information center and I put Google back, which I absolutely will, and it doesn't matter where as long as it's within the first 20, and I save that, I go back to the website, and I'm going to go ahead and refresh that. And what we'll do is we'll search for Google, and now you'll see eBiz ROI shows up. So the beauty is what you can do, and what I recommend the process to populate these keywords are to search for the things that you anticipate your desired customers would search for in terms of the keywords that they might use. If they came to the Chamber and they were looking for a dry cleaner or a financial advisor or a place to get prime rib, like what are the keywords that you want to make sure that you show up right at the very top and make sure that those are entered in the keywords area here. And again, to recap, that's in the member information center under company information, website information, and then within website information, the panel at the very bottom will have your keywords. So I strongly suggest you check out and test different keywords that you think would be valuable and look at incorporating those into your member information center and your profile for your company. Perhaps the most important part of getting value from your online microsite. Now we're going to shift gears and we are going to cover logos. And there's 3 different kinds of logos that you can upload to the Chamber website for your business. And I'm going to show you those in the context of what they're called, where you can upload them, and what they look like on the public website. So this is the Member Information Center. This is what you see when you're logged in, and I've gone under company information here on the left, and then I've selected logos, and there's 3 different kinds of logos. I have what's called the member page header, and that's what shows across the top of the page here. And if I take another example, for instance, if I use another profile that I know has a header, I use JC Suite. So this is the header or banner for your microsite, and you upload that under company information logos, and you can change that anytime you want, or you can remove it. And the dimensions of that, the max dimensions of that are 800 pixels wide by 400 pixels deep. But what I recommend as a best practice is not going deeper than 250 pixels, because for people that are visiting your site on a phone, the content that's important may get pushed below the fold because of the size of your banner. It's something to consider. Your member logo, on the other hand, shows up in a different spot. The member logo is going to show up right here. So this is your member logo here. And if I go back to another example, that's 150 pixels wide by 100 pixels high, or it can be smaller than that, but that's the maximum size. And you would upload that right under member logo. And once that comes in, you'll see there's another example of a member logo. But the important thing to remember here is that you want your logo to be 150 by 150 pixels wide by 100 pixels deep. And that's going to show up underneath your banner right above the visit website button if you have the website linked in your member information center. Another important point, and the question that comes up quite frequently, is how do I know what's the public website versus what's the behind the scenes member information center? And the member information center is really your cockpit. It's your member information center where you're logged in and you're controlling how you market through the chamber website. The member information center has this more of a blue gray type look across the top as a header versus what I would consider to be more of a almost purple burgundy or some kind of blue burgundy, something that's more aligned with the chamber logo. This is going to be the public facing website, so anybody on the internet can see that. So that's just an important point to remember. Then the last point is the search results icon. And this is 75 by 75. And a search result icon would show up in a search result. So if I was searching for advertising services and I get the quick link for that category, I'll see that many of the listings have what's called a search result icon, and that's a 75 by 75 is the maximum size, and that can typically be a logo, something representing your brand, but just a way to stand out in the search results, much like adding a short description in the previous section where we talked about having a short description for your search results. This just gives more information. It takes up more real estate in the search results. And honestly, these search results are randomized, so every time they're run, they're likely to have a different order. People can then change the order to be a alphabetically sorted order, for instance. But in general, it comes up randomly, so everybody gets equal positioning. Sometimes you're on the top, sometimes you're on the bottom, sometimes you're in the middle. But having a search result icon is a good way for your listing in the search result to stand out. So now let's do a quick recap. The goal is to maximize and monetize your online directory profile here at the Chamber to increase business exposure and ultimately to enhance business results. To that end, we've shown you how to add links to your business website and also to your social media channels for Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. We've shown the importance of the business description and how that relates to the About tab on your microsite, and how important searchable keywords are to be able to connect with the thousands of visitors that come to the Chamber website each month looking for products and services that you offer. We also demonstrated the header logo, which adorns the top of the microsite. We talked about the icon that sits to the left of the business name on the microsite, and of course the search result icon that shows up in search results for listings in the member directory. We've talked about the importance of each and how to upload those through the member information center. And next we're going to cover how to populate the media with photo gallery and video uploads. This will create a media tab on our microsite and allow us to be able to promote our business in a very graphical way. We are now going to demonstrate how we can add a media tab to our microsite by adding images and a video through the Member Information Center. So we'll go down to the Member Information Center. Under Company, we'll see that there's a photo section, and we'll click on that, and then we'll click on Manage Gallery. We're going to add image. We will choose a file. We'll call this Display Advertising for a caption, and then we'll add another image. This one will be to signify mobile advertising through apps and mobile web pages. Then we'll add a third image to our gallery for what's called search advertising. So the ads that show up when people search on Google, Yahoo, or Bing. And then lastly, we will add a picture to signify video advertising. And this is primarily advertising on YouTube. We'll go ahead and save gallery. Now, if I reload the web page, we're going to now see that we have a new tab called the Media tab. And the Media tab is going to allow people to cycle through the different pictures that we've uploaded and get a sense of that. Now, photos are great, but one of the things that is very popular to promote and market businesses these days is video. And so what I'm going to do is show you how to embed a video. I'm going to take a video link to a YouTube video that I've created, and I'll go ahead and say Save Changes. And what that did was that pulled in a video from YouTube that was already stored on YouTube just by providing the address to that. And now if I refresh the web page, not only do I have the images, but I also have the video. So when my page comes up, the first thing that users will see will be a video. So if you have a video that you've already invested in to promote your business, then it makes perfect sense to be able to use that video and extend the value of it by promoting your business right here in the chamber using that video. Now we're going to talk about some of the included marketing that all members can take advantage of to promote their business on the chamber website. And we're going to cover 5 areas in the rest of this session. We're going to start with press releases, which will show up in Members in the News. We'll show community events, which will show up on the community events calendar. We'll show how to add job postings, which will show up on the job postings listings page. We'll also show how to add member-to-member deals, which show up on the member-to-member deals listings page. And finally, we'll conclude with adding hot deals, which also shows on a listing page for the hot deals listings page. So let's start with members in the news. And if we look at some examples, going right to members in the news, we'll see that there's some news releases here. And if we click on the title, it'll actually bring us to a page. Some of you may recognize Jennifer from prior board chairmanship here at the chamber. And so she's in this press release. It has its own page, and how that press release is added is pretty straightforward. So we're going to go into the Member Information Center. We're going to go to the Home tab, and then we'll click on News Releases, and then we're going to click on the Add News Release button. Now, it's pretty straightforward, and in fact, most people have entered their own news releases into the system with little or no training, but I'm going to point out a few gotchas that you should look out for. So the title defaults to news release colon and today's date. So you want to make sure you change this to a meaningful headline, right? So that when people see it on the members in the news page, that they feel like it's something compelling to click through. The display release date is what shows as the release date, and that can be the same or different than the published start date and the published end date. So that's the date on which it shows up on the website on the start date, and then on the end date it automatically comes down. Now typically you're going to have press releases that are going to be distributed among other channels. Some may pick it up, others may not. The beauty of the Chamber as a channel is that your press release will always get picked up. You'll just put it in here and submit it, and then usually within 24 business hours it'll be published on the Chamber website. You'll check members in the news, so you want to make sure that you select that category. You'll add an image if you want an image to show up. I highly recommend it because on the news page, by having an image, it makes your press release stand out. Now everybody here has an image, but it just makes your news release that much more interesting, and the click through rate or likelihood that somebody will read your news release is much higher. And then you can put the contact information. You can choose, in the case of eBiz ROI, it would be the contact. You can put a title, a phone, an email, and then you would go ahead and submit that for approval. And again, the body of the text would probably be cut and paste from a word processor that you use, or from a PDF maybe that you're using to distribute to other outlets. But I highly recommend that if you do any news releases at all, that you definitely do news releases on the Chamber website. If you've already written them, you might as well get additional value from them. The other thing is that you can link to your business website from within a news release, and suffice it to say that linking from the Chamber website to your business website offers benefits in terms of positioning in the Google search results. Now that we've covered press releases that show up in members in the news, let's see how you can promote your business on the community events calendar. And if I click through to the community events calendar, we can see that there's a long list of events here in the April calendar. And I can say for sure that people do come to the Chamber website specifically to browse what's going on in the area. So if you want to post your event, so for instance, let's see what's going on today. Flying breakfast. That sounds interesting. So if I click on that, it'll have all the information and the details. So each calendar entry has its own page. So when you do an event on the community calendar, you'll have your own page. You'll be able to upload images if you wanted to upload a video even. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're going to be in the Member Information Center. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the home, and we'll click on that. And then what we're going to want to do is actually go over to the Events tab and select that. And we're going to add an event. And we're going to give it an event title. So again, we're going to want to give it something meaningful, because when people look on the calendar, they're going to decide whether or not they get to your event page based on the link here and how descriptive it is. And that's what your title is. So you want something descriptive, right? The goal is to get them to click through. Now, here's another gotcha. Sometimes you'll want to have an event that's not an all-day event, and you'll try to set the start hour and set these times, and you won't be able to. They're grayed out. And then you'll realize, oh, okay, it defaults to an all-day event. So you have to uncheck that, and then you can have your event start at, say, 9 a.m. and have it end at maybe 12 p.m. And you can have reoccurring events. A word of caution is that if something happens every day of the week or even multiple times a month, it's probably more appropriate to be created as a hot deal or member to member deal. Reoccurrence should really be limited to once a month or once a year. So use with caution. This is in the details is where you describe your event. The meta description will be what shows up on an event search or in the event calendar. And this is good for actually the meta description will be pulled into social media posts. So if you share your event page, it'll pull in the meta description. The search description will show up in the search results on the website. So you want to put a compelling description there, just a way to get more visibility for your event listing. Put location information, maybe directions, a date, time. Now the date, time, people will often ask, well, we already set the date and the time at the top. Like, why do we need to have another date, time section? And this could be used, for instance, if we were having an athletic event and say there was different age categories from 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12. That's where you could put that kind of information. Fees and admissions, if your event is free, then say that because that'll definitely help with attendance if your goal is to have a well-attended event. If there's fees associated with your event, you can put that here as well. You could even put a link to a registration system if you used Eventbrite or something similar. And much like the news release, you have the ability to put contact information here. The event category that you're going to want to do is community event, so you'll select the community event calendar. If you have photos and images, that will enhance not only your listing page but also enhance the interactivity on the site. So we highly recommend that you add images, and you can also add a video much like you do on your own personal microsite. You can add a video on your event page. So you would just go ahead and you would paste that video right in here as an example. I'll use their example. If I use their example, it'll actually pull in a video, or it at one time probably did pull in a video. So we'll see if the other link works, and no. But if you had a active video link like we had in our regular profile, we could go ahead and add that here.